Right now we're at Arnold's Way, not in the hood. Jose came in from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I thought he first came in here, I thought, man, what is this guy doing here? Anyway, this is Sarah. Sarah's been with me for one day. She's going to do a work-study program. And this is Jose. Jose came all the way from Chicago, Illinois, to eat here because he was in the area. Why don't you explain your story, why you're here, and why you became a raw vegan?
I'm here because I was working in Philadelphia for a couple days, and I met Arnold at the Woodstock Fruit Fest, and he talked about he had a restaurant. So since I was in the area, I figured I'd come check it out, and that's why I'm here today. The story of me becoming raw vegan is I went vegan about a year and 7 months ago, and
Not 8 months ago.
well, almost
7
months. It's a little bit over half a year. So yeah. And I was vegan for about a year and a half, and then I ended up going to the Woodstock Fruit Fest. I did the Woodstock Fruit Fest because I wanted a jump start into going fully raw. I always wanted to go fully raw, but living at home and getting home from work after long hours, I'd get home and I see some rice and beans already done.
What is the main reason why you became raw vegan? Because you said in your family there's that what?
Oh yeah, being Hispanic, you have a lot of like health issues that run in your blood, necessarily from diabetes, cancer, cholesterol, strokes, and so on and so forth. The list goes on. And I've seen a lot of my family members get sick from health issues, dying from cancer, diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, and I've also had a couple of my uncles have strokes, and I got to a point where I was like, all right, well, I need to
What's going on?
Yeah. I used to weigh 310 pounds.
310 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I wasn't a small guy. I'm still not a small guy at all.
How much weight have you lost?
To be honest, I can't tell you necessarily.
I would say at least 100 pounds, maybe 89.
Like
yeah, damn.
So yeah, I used to weigh that much, and then I wanted to make a change in my life because I was like, well, if I keep going this way, I'm not gonna.
You're gonna hit 30 years old.
30 years old.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Damn.
Today I'm 25 and I feel
25.
better than I did when I was like 20. So
Wow.
It's definitely great. I've been fully raw for now since the first day of the Woodstock Fruit Festival, which is about 50 days now.
50 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, I've never had this much energy in my life. I don't complain when I get up.
Don't complain. And you get up.
Yeah. I had knee surgeries already on both of my knees.
Wow.
I used to wrestle and I tore the meniscus on them.
Wow.
So, like, when I used to eat a regular American diet, I would wake up with a lot of pain. Doctors used to tell me I was going to have arthritis by like the age of 30 or so. I'm not saying they feel 100%, and I'm not saying I feel like Superman, but I don't complain necessarily like I used to before. They don't hurt as much. They're bearable now, even like with seasonal change that we're going through right now. I'm able to like necessarily walk on them and not complain like I used to. I want to get to that optimal form where I lose a good amount of weight, my health is in great condition, and my knees aren't necessarily something that's like always in my head bothering me and always like a problem to my body. Nothing I can necessarily do to change like the procedures I had on my knees, but it's definitely helping me out through like the seasonal change now, especially living in Chicago. Winter's getting pretty brutal up there, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Sarah, what do you think of all this? Because you're going through some, you've seen family members with diabetes.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, my family, I was adopted.
You're not Hispanic, are you?
No, I was adopted into an Italian family.
Italian family.
So the same thing, you see overweight because, Italians,
Overweight.
it's all about the food and all about the cooking.
Yeah.
It's the same,
All about the
same
food.
as Hispanic. The family comes together around the meal, and
It does.
Everything's
it's
centered
really
around
centered
like,
around it.
Everything's centered around
That's why.
food.
That's another reason why it's so difficult to change.
Right,
I think is
right.
because there's so much attachment to that meal.
Right.
The meal is the love and the connection that you have with your family. So
And
to
it's killing you.
change that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the scary thing is that what they're gathering around to consume and laugh and have fun with is actually killing them.
What do you think about that? What do your parents think about you?
At first it was really hard. Necessarily when I first went vegan, they weren't too accepted about it.
Yeah.
A lot of the foods, even like the basic things like rice and beans, were made from like animal fat.
Wow.
You just throw it in there like
Wow.
chicken broth
Wow.
to give it taste.
Wow.
And it was
They think
something-
twice about it.
They still eat
They
the
still
same
eat that
way.
one.
It's
And
nothing-
you look at it, what do you say?
Well, I don't necessarily like tell them anything more at this
Right.
point. There was a point in my life where it was a lot of arguing.
Right.
It was leading nowhere. It was just
Right.
head clashing.
Right.
And
Son, you gotta eat it. I'm not eating it, Mom.
yeah, that's necessarily what it was.
Yeah.
There was times when my parents thought that I was just disrespecting our culture because
Wow.
I wouldn't eat it.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, I understand that food necessarily is something that our culture is centered around, but
Right.
I don't want to participate in necessarily
Wow.
killing an animal because
Wow.
around that time I also saw Earthling,
Wow.
which helped me make the change.
Wow.
And I didn't see a need for us to having to kill an animal. Science, how a lot of people live their life now saying science
Right.
this, science that.
Right.
Science has proven to us that we don't need to kill or consume animals to live
Right.
a healthy,
Right.
great life.
Right.
And I made all those connections, and now when I first went vegan and I was telling my parents this, like I mentioned, it was just a lot of head clashing. It was going nowhere. My parents were still eating the same way. At this moment right now, it's a year and a half now. You could open our fridge at home and like the amount of meat that was there a year and a half ago to what it is now is very minimal.
Wow.
So a lot of that has changed because
Wow.
the only ones that are
You hear that, Miss Alpha?
the only ones that are really eating meat now is just my mom and dad.
Wow.
My brother's vegan. He's not raw vegan, but he
Right.
is vegan.
Wow.
My sister has gone vegetarian, which is
Wow.
necessarily, I'm not saying the best thing, but it's a step
Right. Wow.
forward.
Big tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Big tears in your eyes.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Very
glad
good.
I've helped them with that change. I'm
Very
working
good.
on my parents,
Right.
hopefully.
That's a rough one. I'm
Yeah.
looking at my parents as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's something.
I'm your parent though.
They're stuck in,
Yeah.
like I mentioned,
They're
in the
stuck.
cultural way.
Right.
And they don't necessarily want to leave it because it's
Right.
where they feel comfortable. You
Right.
know?
Comfort zone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in order to like necessarily make the fully raw vegan change, you kind of got to get out of your own comfort zone.
Right.
You know, you got to kind of test your own limits. And I tried going fully raw vegan at home, and I just didn't necessarily
Right.
have like the support at home
Right.
because there was always.
You follow me on YouTube?
I actually didn't meet you till Woodstock.
Oh, wow.
To be honest,
That's okay.
Annie, she has dreads. I don't know if you remember. She does raw alignment.
Okay.
She actually told me to go with her to one of your workshops.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
And that's where I met you. You showed that documentary of everyone being on that challenge.
Oh, right, right.
And that's necessarily where I saw that video
Right.
where that lady was on like 50-something medicines
Right.
and was down to like 3, like you
Right,
mentioned.
right.
After the challenge, which was great. And
Oh, good.
and just being in the environment at Woodstock really helped me kickstart everything. I got back home, and like the first day of Woodstock, I was like, well, I already know what I want to eat when I get back.
Yeah.
And it was something cooked.
Yeah.
And I got back home, and I was like, well, wait, I already did 7 days. So I was like, I did that because I wanted to get a jump start to going fully raw. Why don't I just keep it going? And then
Right.
another week happened, and then I was like, all right, well, why don't I keep going?
Right.
4 weeks happened, and
Wow.
here I am today, and I'm just
Okay.
like enjoying it, loving it,
Okay, you got it.
and I don't necessarily want to go back. I like it a lot.
Is there anything you want to say in the end? She's with me for anywhere from 2 months to 6 years.
It's undisclosed right now.
Undisclosed,
However
okay.
long it takes to save the world.
Okay, save the world, yeah. Anyway, live from Arnold's Way with Jose, Sarah, myself. Bye. Good.